We just took a 2-minute bathroom break, and during that break, we learned, what did we learn?
Well, hopefully he'll be back soon, but Instagram just removed Steve Will Do It's account.
Do you know why?
It's not clear. We never truly know why. You know, like we never even truly knew why his YouTube went down. You know, I've heard a few different reasons, but yeah.
It's interesting that Instagram and YouTube, owned by different entities, both decide to remove Steve Will Do It. Now, I've heard certain conspiracies that like all of them are in cahoots. They're all in the same like group chat, you know, or there's some guy up top that's running all of these things. What do you think about that?
I think there's a person at a platform that doesn't know how to do their jobs, so they'll just read that YouTube did something and they'll say, oh, maybe we should be doing that too. I think they're just some sheep.
You think so?
Yeah. I think that person there, that person that's making that decision without properly doing their research is. Now, the sad thing is the people at these platforms that like run like the worlds of the creators and entertainment, they don't know those people. So like there's people at YouTube that actually stick up for Steve and like call us and say, we wish this didn't happen. We have no control. Like they talk to Steve. Like there's some really, that's why you'll never hear me say anything bad about YouTube, because there are some people that are really, most people at YouTube actually support Steve. They like Steve. They like NELK. They like the Shahidis. But then there's just somebody there. And I know this at Twitter. You know, I can't really get into why I know this, but I know at Twitter, it's like, they're not even employees at Twitter, they're contractors. They're third-party companies at the Twitter, and I'm assuming that the other platforms do the same, is like they contract these third-party companies to run and, you know, kind of look over the community. And those guys actually have the power and the authority to do that. So I don't think there's like a group chat, hey, deleted Steve. Oh, cool. We'll do that in a couple of days too. I think it's like one does it and then everyone's like, oh, well, we got to do it now too. I think I got to do it because, you know, my job is based off what, you know, the latest Tube Filter article talking about so-and-so's channel has been restricted or taken down or whatever.
I'm just wondering what viewer of Instagram sees that Steve Will Do It's profile got deleted and they're like, oh yes, you know what I mean? Finally, like they're sticking up for.
There's gotta be, you know, Steve is a comedian and he's got a very dark humor to his comedy. So there's somebody that just doesn't get his comedy and is taking it the complete wrong way. And it's actually sad because that's kind of the world we're in right now, where like, you know, and I say this to Steve all the time. It's like somebody didn't watch your video. They just somebody sent them your video and said, hey, fast forward to the 18-minute, 20-second mark and look at what he said. You know, it's like, and by the way, that's probably the worst thing you could do to me is send me a video and say, fast forward to 18-minute, 20-minute mark. Just send me the video. I want to watch the whole video. I want to know the whole context. Don't just tell me to watch this one, you know, quick, you know, 1 minute and judge the entire video or judge your entire creator. I want to know the whole story. I want to know or in the case of Steve, I want to know the whole joke. You know, don't just give me this one thing, part of his joke, and make me assume that Steve said something crazy or Steve is anti this or anti that. So I think, but we are in a world of clips. We are in a world where clips go viral. You know, even this podcast, right? Like there's probably going to be a 30-second, 1 minute part of this that's going to go viral of something I said, and someone's going to like me because of it or not like me because of it. But that's just kind of the world we're in, where like just clips get taken and go viral on TikTok or shorts or reels.
Yeah. How do you get the account back though?
Well, I just, I mean, what you just saw, what Jen just did is we just reach out to the platforms like, hey, pretty sure somebody made a mistake and someone pushed the wrong button here. You know, in the case of YouTube, they're like, no one made a mistake. Steve's out. You know, his Instagram's been down a few times. That's why I was saying, like, maybe by the time this is live, it might be back up. We'll see. You know, his Twitter's actually been taken down before, and we got that up. But Yeah, it's just, we just reach out and say, hey, this must be a mistake, could someone look into it?
Got it.
Instagram is very supportive. Twitter, of course, extremely supportive. Snap's supportive. And 99% of YouTube is supportive. Yeah. It's just that 1% somewhere, I don't know where, it's just a music video. Yeah.
And how effective do you think deplatforming is? Because I remember hearing Tate say somewhere on like some TikTok clip or something like that, he's like, I am more powerful now than I ever was when I was on, TikTok, when I was on Instagram, when I was on all of these platforms. Now I have much more influence after they took me off because it was like such a massive media thing, like when he got removed.
I don't believe that.
You think deplatforming is very, very effective?
I think it hurts. I think it really hurts. I think you've seen it with a lot of people. No matter what, it hurts. And if you don't believe me, go look at someone that's been deplatformed. Go on Google Trends and search their name and how often they're searched on Google before they were deplatformed and after. Right, the trends just go down. Like they just make you pretty much disappear.
With Tate is that when he was deplatformed originally, it was all anyone could talk about for like I would say 2 weeks. It was everywhere, and that's where I think he got that initial spike. So temporarily, I think it does bring a lot more attention because everyone who hasn't heard of him was like, "Oh, who's that Andrew Tate guy? He got deplatformed. Let me look into it." But now, when you look at Andrew Tate stuff, it's not getting pushed anymore. And I think his stay in Romania or the jail just got extended another 30 days. And that's nowhere. Like no one's even covering that anymore.
Right.
And
there are no developments. That's a huge development when he gets deplatformed. But then from there on, since he has no contact with everybody through social media, there are no developments. So nothing to talk about.
People move on. I think when you're not creating new content.
But I think Tate is a little bit different because it's so fresh.
Yeah.
And he's not truly deplatformed, right? Like his clips, like he still has this TikTok army, that's really, like this clip army, right? Like that's like start on TikTok, but they're distributing on shorts and reels. So he's still out there. It's still fresh, but like, let's look at like some of the other guys like in the past who are completely vanished, like Vitaly, you got to give it a couple years, by the way. I mean, Tate, Tate's only been deplatformed for 6 months or so, like, and not fully deplatformed, right? He just really lost his YouTube and Instagram. Like he was back on Twitter right away. And like I said, but he's not really off YouTube and Instagram because his clips army is still strong.
Was Vitaly deplatformed? I thought he just stopped posting.
No, I thought his YouTube got deleted.
No, it's still up there.
It came back. It was pretty sure. No, you know what? Vitaly wasn't deplatformed. Vitaly was blacklisted, which is all, it was like the old version of being deplatformed, meaning like nobody in Hollywood really wanted to work with him. Same thing happened with PewDiePie for a little while.
Yeah.
Right? He got removed from his MCN. I think it was demonetized or he got kicked off Google Preferred.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think he made an anti-Semitic remark. So like eventually those things hurt you in the long run.
But how do you balance it? Because I know with NELK, there's got to be a balance between, speaking their mind and being open, but also conforming to what the platform is able to push. Because if, NELK were to do something, it would also affect Happy Dad.
Well, NELK is also, I think NELK has figured out a different way to create content. Going back to that Dagestan, Russia video, right? It was like, to me, that video was a 10 out of 10 as far as content goes. It was funny, it was informative, it was educational, it was behind the scenes of a UFC fighter training for a big fight with Islam. And, one thing that Kyle has done a fucking fantastic job of is evolving the content to not necessarily because of Happy Dad. Yes, he keeps Happy Dad back of his mind because we are in a regulated business, but also he knows that Kyle's 27 years old now. He's like, dude, I can't be doing, he says it all the time, I can't be doing pranks the rest of my life. I got to evolve the content. I got to change up. The fans are older now. They've been seeing this stuff for a while. I got to change the content, but going back to what we were talking about, the social networks, but without changing it drastically. It can't be a sudden change, it has to be a subtle change. So some of these videos of, and also these the audience has been watching NELK for a long time, so they just want to see what everyone's been up to. They want to see the behind the scenes. So, traveling to Israel, traveling to Dagestan, traveling to Vegas, or for UFC, or hanging out with Dana White. The audience wants to see that, but also he's like, I can't hard cut to that. So there's been some pranks sprinkled here and there. There's been some funny moments with like Hezbollah here and there. So there's laughter and there's lifestyle in one now, which is really, I think he's done such a great job of like kind of growing up the content with the audience. So it's not the same thing. So the content's evolved quite a bit.